I got a lot of records. I listen to them all, some more than others. And that's what we're talking about today. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome to Northern Revolutions. I'm Rob. Welcome back if you're returning. Welcome if you're new. I was inspired today by a video on another channel. Fellow Canadian and good vinyl community friend Robert from Robert's on My Turntable. Gentleman who lives about 3 hours down the highway from me. Did a video today about the 10 albums he's always loved, always enjoys listening to. It got me thinking. I've got about 800 records there, give or take. But there's some that I sort of always gravitate to. They're the ones, not necessarily my favorite records. They're the ones that I'm always in the mood to listen to. I don't need to go, yeah, I want to listen to that because I always want to listen to it. So pulled 10 that I'm always in the mood for. Doesn't even have to be here. Could be, I spend a lot of time in my car because I'm in sales and I'm on the road a lot. I'm in my car. It's a lot of the same. What do I listen to? What am I in the mood for? These ones I don't need to be in the mood for. I'm always in the mood for. So I'll leave a link to Robert's video. Please go check him out. Watch his video. These are in no particular order. They're just have to be, as I was kind of sitting here looking at my stack, just the random order that I pulled them in. So the Wallflowers, Bringing Down the Horse, album from 1996, one of my favorite albums of all time. I want to say it's almost a perfect record. I don't think there's a bad track on it. Wallflowers now is just Jakob Dylan, Bob's son, revolving cast of supporting characters over the years, but he's been the constant. This was obviously their big album. This had 6th Avenue Heartache, 3 Marlenas, 1 Headlight, God Don't Make Lonely Girls. Like, all bangers on this. It's just an absolutely flawless record. Always in the mood to listen to this, especially the very first song, 1 Headlight. The way that it just starts out with that drum beat. It's got this very succinct snare that's sort of the hook to that song. And as soon as I hear that first couple bars, that very first song, I'm in. I love this record all the time. So the Wallflowers, Bringing Down the Horse. Next up, a band I've loved since I was a kid, and I love almost everything they put out. They had one album that was, and that's Creedence Clearwater Revival. I've always loved them. Always want to listen to a Creedence record because Fogerty's guitar hooks, they're so catchy. All those songs are fantastic. I gravitate to this. A lot of people love Cosmos Factory. I do too. But I always go with Willie and the Poor Boys. Why? I think Down in the Corner is probably my favorite Creedence song, but it also has Fortunate Son, which is amazing. They do kind of a catchy cover of Cotton Fields. Midnight Special is on here. Effigy. Oh, what a jam that is. Don't Look Now, It Ain't You or Me. I love every single song on this record. To me, I think it's Creedence's strongest record and my favorite. So I always want to listen to Creedence, and when I do, I pick this one. For any of you that watch my Wednesday night live stream, you know that Joe is a super fan of this guy, Bryan Adams. I know he's not cool to like Bryan Adams, but I do, always have, seen him a few times. I love this record all the time. This is Waking Up the Neighbors from 1991. Always been my favorite of his. Most folks prefer Reckless or Cuts Like a Knife. Love those albums too. In fact, I listened to Reckless earlier this evening. But this is, I think this because this was the first one that made me a fan, because 1991, I would have been like 13-ish. And I kind of remember this being sort of the first Bryan Adams record I ever listened to. So, Can't Stop This Thing We Started is the huge hit on here. And yes, it does have Everything I Do For You. I'm not a big fan of some of the ballady stuff, but other stuff on here I absolutely love. Is Your Mama Gonna Miss You? Not Guilty. House Arrest. There'll Never Be Another Tonight. Touch the Hand. Fantastic record. I think it gets overlooked a lot in his catalog, but obviously I love the earlier Bryan Adams stuff up to about 2000. I mean, I have all the later stuff, but it sort of pales in comparison to the pre-2000 stuff. And I like this. This is kind of him at the end of his peak in the 80s, even though this was 91. But I grouped that in with, Reckless and those other albums. So I'm always in the mood to listen to Waking Up the Neighbors. If you watched Robert's video, you would know that he showed Fleetwood Mac's Rumors. And I'm glad that he did, because a lot of people kind of shit on Rumors. It's too commercial. It's too popular. Yeah, because it's a goddamn great record. And I love it too. I have a couple different copies of it. And I'm always in the mood to listen to Fleetwood Mac. And I like all lineups of Fleetwood Mac. The Peter Green era, the post-Lindsay Stevie. But I love all versions of Fleetwood Mac. But my go-to Fleetwood Mac album, surprisingly, is the second self-titled Fleetwood Mac. This is the one immediately before Rumors. I love the song Monday Morning. What a great way to kick off the record. Blue Letter, another one of my favorite Fleetwood Mac songs. But it's got Rhiannon. Oh my God, what a song. Landslides, that beautiful Stevie Nicks song. Say You Love Me. Crystal, which was originally a Buckingham Nicks song before they joined Fleetwood Mac. World Turning. I think this is as good as Rumors without all the emotional turmoil. I don't know. I like it more, maybe because I don't hear it as much. I'll listen to Rumors any day of the week too, but if I'm going to put on a Fleetwood Mac record, it's going to be this one. Next one I listened to today, as a matter of fact. I love Bon Jovi. All Bon Jovi. There's a divide between, are you a Richie Sambora fan or a Phil X fan? I like them both. I like Phil more. This is Crush from, I think it came out in like late 90s or maybe 2000. I don't know exactly. This is the one that had It's My Life on it. Arguably one of their greatest hits. Amazing song, but there's a lot of other things on here that I like too. There's a song called Two Story Town, which I think is awesome. Captain Crash and the Beauty Queen from Mars. Maybe one of my favorite Bon Jovi songs in their entire catalog. I Got the Girl. If that wasn't a single, it damn well should have been, because it's incredible. I think my favorite Bon Jovi record. I think I actually like it better than Slippery When Wet. And I'm always in the mood to listen to this. Big fan of singer-songwriters. Big fan of female singer-songwriters. Big fan of Cheryl Crowe. Tuesday Night Music Club. 1993 debut. A lot of memories, associated with this record. Part of the soundtrack of my life back in the 90s. A lot of milestones sort of associated with this record. The big hits on here: Leaving Las Vegas, Strong Enough, Can't Cry Anymore, I Shall Believe. My favorite Sheryl Crow song of her entire catalog is on here. The lead song, Run Baby Run. Love that song. First time I heard that, I'm like, wow. So, yeah, always into listening to this. No, this is not the limited edition Record Store Day one from a few years ago. This is the Bernie Grundman remaster from, last year or the year before. I can never go wrong with Tuesday Night Music Club. Some Canadian content now. Got to do it. I've talked about this next artist and said she sounds a lot like Sheryl Crowe with some soul, and that's Amanda Marshall. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. This came out in 1995. It's her self-titled debut. Phenomenal. Exactly as I describe, I think. She's like Sheryl Crowe with some soul. Incredibly powerful voice. She's kind of known for her trademark insane amount of hair, but she's amazing. There was one minor hit in the US on here, which was called Birmingham. But in Canada, almost this entire album was radio mainstay back in the day. Let It Rain, Birmingham, Fall from Grace, Dark Horse. That's my favorite. What an incredible song. Sitting on Top of the World. This album, you still hear it all the time in the grocery store, the dentist's office, whatever. It's amazing. Her follow-up is pretty good. She's come back to music after 20 years and just put out a new album a year or so ago. But I am always in the mood to listen to Amanda Marshall. So if you like female singer-songwriters or you like Sheryl Crowe, give Amanda Marshall a try. She is phenomenal. One band I've talked about a lot is, ironically, The Band. Hard to get that to the Lights That Shine. And this is Rock of Ages. This is the Mo-Fi pressing. Rock of Ages is a live album by the band, Robbie Robertson and company. This was a residency that they did at the Academy of Music in New York. It was like a week-long residency. Dylan stopped by for a brief visit. They were accompanied by a horn section. Alan Toussaint put that together. This is the band at their best. The Last Waltz is incredible, but it's got a whole bunch of guests on it, which is amazing. It's my favorite live album of all time. But if I just wanted to listen to the band, doing what the band does best, I'm going to listen to Rock of Ages. As awesome as their studio albums are, the band is better live. And I think this album is incredible. It covers all the hits, but they're done live. And it's just them, and Bob Dylan shows up for a couple songs. But if I'm going to listen to the band, which I'm, again, always in the mood for, I'm going with Rock of Ages. This is one that has a, I'd say, divided fan base in the vinyl community. Aerosmith. It's not cool to like Aerosmith from the 80s and 90s. It's only cool to like the earlier Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic and that kind of stuff. I love all the Aerosmith albums, except for like Rock in a Hard Place. Yeah, that kind of sucks. But late 80s, early 90s was my Aerosmith, right? Because I was, in the late 80s, 1990, I was like 12. So this was my Aerosmith, and I prefer this over the early stuff, but I still love the early stuff. Like, I have all those albums, and they're great. But this is what I grew up listening to, so I have a certain affinity for it. And when I want to hear some good rock and roll, I'll put on some Aerosmith. Get a Grip from 1993. Eat the Rich, Living on the Edge, Walk On Down, Crying, Crazy, amazing. This album is amazing. There's a lot of great songs in here. Unless you're one of the people from the 70s that goes, late Aerosmith sucks. And you're entitled to that opinion. It's fine. But this is the Aerosmith record I go to because I have such vivid memories of watching much music and seeing those videos, Crying and Crazy. For me, I can't go wrong with this Aerosmith. Get a Grip. And lastly, an album I don't know that I have ever shown. I talk about it from time to time. Travelling Wilburys. Man, the superest of supergroups. This is an undeniable masterpiece from 1988. Bob Dylan, Jeff Lynne, George Harrison, Roy Orbison, and Tom Petty. I mean, some of the biggest names in rock and roll got together on a whim, basically, to help George finish a song, and it turned into this. Handle with Care was the hit off here. Tweeter and the Monkey Man, End of the Line. There's not a bad note on this record. Always makes me feel great when I listen to it. Always want to listen to it. Volume 3, which is their second album, is also really enjoyable too, but you really feel the absence of Roy Orbison, who had passed away. So whenever I want to feel good, like on a nice sunny day or whatever, good to listen to the Travelling Wilburys. If you haven't heard this, you're missing out. There you go. There is a dozen albums that I'm always happy to listen to. I'm always in the mood for. I don't need to be in the mood to listen to this. If other albums, like if I want to listen to some Clapton, John Mayall, I got to be in the mood for that. Fantastic, but I got to be in the mood to listen to it. Or if I want to listen to some Green Day, got to be in the mood to listen to it. So these are ones, it doesn't matter. If I'm standing here and I go, what should I listen to? Invariably, one of these is going to get pulled because it's always a great choice. So those are mine. Please check out Robert's On My Turntable, who was the inspiration from this video. I will leave a link in the description. Please check them out. That's everything for me today, folks. Let me know in the comments what your sort of go-to albums are when there's nothing that, tickles your fancy. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the flip side.